Hey there tech fans, Rick here again with a quick review of the Bluerigger DAC240 digital to analog audio converter. This product provides a really easy way of converting digital audio into analog audio so you can easily incorporate your older home stereo, amplifier system, or even a soundbar that are all analog components into your newer digital media setup. The product connects between your newer digital gear and your older analog audio gear and allows you to really enhance the audio quality for that full theater experience. Now, before I get too deep into the review of the product, I always like to start with a quick unboxing just to show you everything that's included with the kit. And then I'll take a closer look at the DAC240, I'll explain the connections and indicators so you understand exactly how to use it. I'll also do a quick demonstration to show you just how simple this product will be to use with your own equipment. And then I'll point out a few things that really separate this digital to analog converter from a lot of other products you may be considering. So let's get started with the unboxing. When you first pop open the box, there's not a lot inside, to be honest with you. You'll find the DAC240. You'll also find a power cable. The cable has a micro USB connection on one end and a USB-A connection on the other. You'll plug the micro USB end into the unit, and the USB-A end can plug into any standard USB wall charger, or if you have an open USB-A port on any of your media gear, you can plug it in there because the product requires very little current for operation. You'll also find a quick start guide that lists connection diagrams, specifications, and other important details about the product, so always read through that to make sure you get the best value. You'll find a contact card as well in case you have questions or problems later on. You can use that to get in touch with the company. All right, so let's talk about the unit a little bit. And the first question you might have is, where would I use a digital to analog converter? Well, if you think about all the modern media gear that you're using nowadays, most of that equipment has a digital audio connection only. You'll find it's got an SPDIF or a coaxial connection, and they've eliminated the ability to connect up to analog gear. So if you have an older stereo or an amplifier or a soundbar that only has analog connections, you can't use that. This product allows you to bridge the gap between your newer digital gear and your older analog gear and still use that stereo that provides phenomenal audio for you. You can simply connect this up to your digital gear, connect the other end of it up to your audio gear, and there are adjustments on the unit that I'll show you in a minute where you can adjust the bass or the volume to accommodate any listening preference. Now, the unit itself is extremely sophisticated. It provides both PCM and LPCM output. It also does sampling at 24K, 24 bits, so it's an incredibly smart unit where it'll sample it really well, it'll give you crisp quality audio, convert that to analog, and allow you to pass it through a soundbar or your home stereo for better quality audio. Now, I'd like to take a look at the unit next because I want you to understand the connections you'll make between your digital gear and your analog gear, and they've done a great job of simplifying the connections on the unit, and then I'll come back and do the demonstration. So stay tuned next for the closer look. The Bluerigger DAC240 features a full metal enclosure which makes it incredibly durable and really the perfect solution for both residential and commercial installations. On either side of the cabinet you'll find ventilation slots that are designed to let any heat that develops during operation escape and keep the electronics inside at a very comfortable temperature. On the one end you'll find the input connections. Starting on the left is a power port. That's a micro USB port. You can use the included cable, plug the micro USB connection in here, the other end of the cable into a standard USB wall charger, or any available USB-A port on your media equipment. To the right of that are your input connections, coaxial connection here, and a digital SPDIF connection there. This connects to whatever device you'd like to convert to analog audio. You'll also find a control right here for adjustment of the bass. On the other end of the unit, you'll find the output connections. On the left are two RCA ports. These are standard for older stereos. You can use an RCA cable to a 3.5mm or RCA to RCA to connect this up to your local stereo. You also have a 3.5mm port right here that can be used for headphones or can be used as an output. And finally, a volume control on the right that allows you to adjust the volume to get the exact right amount of audio to that external amplifier. Now I'll show you just how easy it'll be to use this product with your own equipment. And for this demonstration, I've set up a nice widescreen monitor right over here and a small media player that's looping a video on this monitor with audio in the background. Now I'd like to listen to the audio on the monitor, but unfortunately it doesn't have a speaker and the media player can only output digital audio. Over here I've set up an older analog amplifier and I'd like to enjoy that audio with my older home equipment. I've got the DAC240 in front of me. Now the first connection I'll make is from the digital gear into the DAC240, and I've got an SPDIF cable already connected up to the media player. I'll plug that directly into the back of the DAC240. And then I can apply power. I've plugged the other end of this cable into a USB charger. The micro USB end plugs right into the back of the unit. The minute I do that, you'll see a blue light come on back here, and that lets me know that I've got power to the unit. It's going through a power on self-test right now. It's starting to sample the audio, and it's outputting that audio to those analog connections on the end. Now I have two choices to connect up my amplifier. I can use the pair of RCA connections or a 3.5mm left and right analog. That can also be used for headphones, which I like a lot. For today, I'm going to use the two RCA connections. Now, this amplifier is analog only, and you can tell it's analog because listen to this. Hear that beautiful hum? That's an analog amplifier. Now I'm going to plug it into the DAC240. There's your audio. So what you're hearing there is analog audio through an older amplifier that was converted from digital audio that came out of that media player, and it allows me to incorporate my older home stereo, which sounds great, into my newer digital equipment. And the best part is, I've got control over the volume. So I can turn it up, I can turn it down. If I'm using headphones, I can adjust it for the headphones. I can also vary the bass if I want more bass or less bass. And of course I can adjust it at the amplifier level as well. But isn't it cool that I've got the ability to control the modulation that I'm sending along to my amplifier so I can adjust it perfectly for my tastes? And it really is just that easy to get it working. I hope that closer look and demonstration were helpful. Now here are a few really important things to keep in mind when you're comparing the Bluerigger DAC240 to other digital to analog audio converters you may be considering. The first thing has to do with the sampling rate, and that's probably the most important specification for any DDA converter. This unit has a sampling rate of 192K 24-bit audio, and that's really important because that determines how clear the audio is that you're passing along to your analog equipment, so check that specification first. Another thing to check is the PCM LPCM compatibility. This unit is completely compatible with both of those standards, and that's important because you're connecting this to modern digital equipment. You want to make sure that the conversion process gives you as many opportunities for connecting up great quality audio to your analog gear as possible. Another big difference between this unit and other units on the market are these two knobs right here. And that's an important difference because Bluerigger thought about what you're going to use this product for, and they've given you an adjustment for bass and for volume. Other units on the market are just boxes and they have no control whatsoever of the output modulation or the bass. So being able to adjust both of those means that I'm not going to send too much audio along to my analog audio gear and overmodulate that audio. I love the fact that I can fine tune that. Another consideration is the input connections versus the output connections. This one provides two input connections for your digital gear, both an SP-diff optical and a coaxial connection. They provide two outputs as well, a pair of RCA connections and a 3.5mm analog connection. So I've got a lot of ways to get into the box through the digital and out of the box through the analog. I like that a lot. And the last thing I'll point out, and it seems like kind of a small thing, is that it uses a standard micro USB cable for power. A lot of other units on the market have a proprietary power supply that you'll plug into the wall and they've got some kind of wonky connector on the end that plugs in there. What if that power supply goes bad down the road? You can't replace it. You've got to be out there trying to find that power supply. With this one, I've got a standard USB-A to micro USB connection, and the best part is I can plug this into my media gear and eliminate that power supply completely. So I think they've done a great job in building a unit that does a very simple thing, converting digital to analog audio, but they've given you a lot of control over the output, over the connections, and even how you power it. So I like this unit an awful lot, and I've been using it to incorporate some of my newer digital gear with my older amplifier systems. I have a couple of sound bars that are analog only, and I love using this product to enhance that audio so I can really get into those movies when I've got bullets flying by me or Tyrannosaurus Rex roaring in the field. I love those kind of things, and this allows me to do that. So thanks an awful lot for watching. I hope you found value in the review, and until next time, as always, stay nerdy.